What's up, gamers? As you know, I don't usually pump out video the day a game releases or after the release dates because I tend to go really deep into a game before I point out things about it. Well, in this case, I think I've gone deep enough with this game an entire night, pretty much. I've also want to throw out some positive points about the game, the negative points about this game, and at the same time answer some questions out there from some people. As usual, I point out that my opinions should and probably will mean jack shit to a lot of you guys, but that's the way it should be because it's an opinion. So make your own and don't get swayed by others, but rather learn, observe, and understand what exactly others are experiencing and seeing. Anyways, the game we're going to be talking about tonight is Aliens Colonial Marines, developed by Gearbox, who put their name in the front, of course, in association with other companies such as Nerve Software, Timegate Studios, The Merge Studio, and the game is published by Sega. I've had some calls from friends on the console version of this game. They've seriously said they've been shafted hard about it, but luckily I got the PC version of the game, so it's not too bad in my case. But pretty much it's still outdated, which I'm going to get into in a bit. Graphic itself does not make a game, but to some people the game itself did have some bad texture in it. No lie, I did see some of that. There's no support for DX11 at all for the PC version, and there's some really bad textures at some early parts of the game, a little bit glitchy, which can kind of be fixed. I'm guessing the modders and the HD texturers, people are going to probably step it up, or maybe someone from Gearbox will do it, who knows. So unless you've never played a video game for the last 5 years, you're probably going to be amazed by the graphics in this game. But I gotta say, some of the environments in this game though does stand out for me. My favorite part in the game is especially the rain part, where the planet you crashed on, there's rain falling around, and as you look around, there's planets, that was kind of cool. And also some moments where you're in corridors and it looks really nice, I guess. So this game does have moments in terms of great graphics. I'll go ahead and also answer a comment I saw. The comment was pretty much, someone said that AVP 2010 had worse graphics than this game. Well, I did him a favor, pretty much installed AVP 2010 and turned up the DX11 and then made a little comparison video for you. So here you go, you can take a look at the older gameplay of AVP 2010 and get a feel of that. Anyways, we're done with that. Yep. The sound in the music in the game is alright. The gun sounds has an authentic feel to it, straight out of the movie. However, it can get pretty annoying later on once you hear it like a billion times. But at least you can have a choice of putting a silencer on it so that you don't get annoyed. I found it fitting also for certain moments in the game where the music kicks in. It's very tense. The voice acting is pretty alright in this game. It sounded like it was copy and paste for some part of it from the movie, but the lip syncing was pretty bad at some points, but that's all there was to it. The control to the game is fine, not too clunky at all, like any other FPS. The story itself was uninteresting to me. It lacked a certain feeling to it that the movies had, especially since they said it was Conan. It was really not that interesting at all. I guess it didn't age too well, perhaps. I don't know what happened. Maybe I've just gotten too old. But it really did a good job at being a tribute to the movie Aliens. That's what the number one thing this game did do was that it paid a lot of tribute to the movies, which was the most important thing to a lot of you guys out there who are Alien hardcore fans. And yes, I've seen all the movies, I've read some of the majority of the comics, so I know what's going on. But in the end, I guess it left me going, meh. So it was really uninteresting to me at a lot of certain parts, especially during the story. The final plus side to this game, the real thing about this game is that the game does include customization of your weapon, which in a sense it gives you the player as a sense of choice and having what you want to do with your weapon, and also the fact that it included co-op, 4 multiplayer modes you can play, where you can have some replayability to it. I've experienced some good times last night with a couple people I don't even know. We did a campaign, and I'll show you right now one of my favorite part in the game where we had some really good time. One of my favorite level in the game was the sewers when nobody had any weapons, and we're all just sneaking down there. It's good times, good times. Definitely get that going. Also, if you don't mind, please excuse this part because it's not coming from Fraps. It's coming from a stream recording I did last night when I was actually playing the game. So, I had to show you the moment when it happened. It was pretty funny, but I guess that's what we got to go through because you can't really relive the moment again. What the fuck? Oh shit! Anyways, that's one for you, Mabus. That was definitely for you, buddy. Anyways, we're going to move on to the cons of the game, the part where the majority of you really want to hear this. The cons of the game, unfortunately, outweighs the pros in the game. Some of the obvious cons I would like to point out, and some of them are mostly preference-wise, but the textures being rushed at some points. There are certain places where textures are not that great. Some people are really big about graphics, but once again, this can be fixed if you're the PC owner of the game. I mean, modders will probably step up, change things up with a bit on the HD mods, or maybe Gearbox themselves would do something about it. Who knows? Otherwise, console players, you're literally fucked. There's no help for you guys. Don't know how to help you guys. The other part that drives me insane and some of my viewers insane is that the lip syncing problems drive me insane at certain points in the game. The people who saw my stream saw this. What the hell was going on? I don't know. I felt like I was watching a kung fu movie with people making sound over the lips. It was just pretty funny. I also felt absolutely no remorse for the love moments in this game at all. It felt way too rushed, especially with the lip syncing problems at certain point of the game. The other biggest major con in this game, everybody saw this, everybody knows this. There was a video put out today. I saw the video also, and I finally realized what happened last night when I was running past mobs to get to the objective for my team. Is that the AI in this game is absolutely horrible, which everyone would have to probably agree, because I want to point out there was certain points in the game where I hightailed past aliens, past all the mobs. They weren't doing anything to me. They pretty much turned their back to me. Some of the humans in the game, they also turned their back to me. So instead, I got, I was the closest one to them, but instead of going after me, they went after my teammates who were like across the map and pretty much turned their back on me. And I'm sitting there like, hey bro, don't you want to kill me? Because all they need to do is 3-hit, especially if you're playing the game in ultimate badass mode where there's no HUD, you don't know your health, and you don't, you get sideswiped really quick. Other times there were just mobs that were, instead of trying to flank me like the early parts in the game, they run directly in front of me to be shot, saying, hey, just shoot me. I don't know what happened at that point. I remember early in the game, there was a lot of flanking. The player would have to chase after small alien, and it was really cool. It was really cool. But then as the game really progresses on, that quickly died out. It stopped having that certain feeling where the aliens are actually trying to flank you. They sometimes try, but they just can't, especially in certain parts of the map. The other clunky part of the game, I don't know if it's preference, but is the melee combat of the game. I didn't like the way it works. It wasn't very solid or very fluid. When you see the V button pops up, all you have to do is hit it and you'll teleport like 3 steps right in front of your mob, just to
whack them in the face and push them back a bit. And you'll notice the teleportation if you look carefully. Instead, it feels very scripted. In fact, I might as well throw this out. The whole game was very scripted in itself. There's no dynamic feeling to it. It doesn't feel like it had a soul. Very old school. So I guess a lot of old school players would probably like this. I didn't like it, and I'm an old school player. So it seems like it tried to be, at many part, dynamic, but it failed to execute. It failed to execute the dynamic part of the game somehow. It just didn't. It wasn't well thought out. The gameplay itself was very linear, very closed corridors. The feeling was very crowded, especially in co-op. We didn't have many space to run around, and then when we did have space to run, it was only for some parts. There was no real open world feeling to this game to give it life at all, or exploration spots. They try to implement this in certain areas or certain points of the game, and that didn't go well because people rather stay in groups rather than run around putting up motion sensors. I personally didn't give a shit, and I rambled the shit out of that like a true soldier. The reason why this area is such a huge discussion, especially the con of the game, and a disappointment to many people, is the fact that right now, basically, I'll just point out that this game did many things it should not have done for many people and gave them the illusion that this game will be amazing. I see why they're upset, because this is especially when the game is priced about $50 and you have a $25 season pass DLC going into it. So a lot of people are mad about that, but basically the main points are the game itself charges you $50 or $60 for console versions pretty much, and basically charges you for a season pass DLC that's like around $25 or $35. So a lot of people, that's important, because $60, that's a lot of money for them. They don't want to spend that much for a product when they can spend it on something else. The other reasons are basically pointed itself out as a AAA title. The fact that the game itself was really hyped up, it gave people, the impression that it's a AAA title for the price, and especially for the price, you expect a AAA title. And like I said, AAA titles usually have a bar or standard they go by. People associate it with that standard, and pretty much it disappoints them when they don't live up to its expectations. Another reason I would say is the illusion that this game gave to people. Certain people I've read, seems like they're delusional. The word Gearbox means Borderlands 2 quality sort of game to them. I don't know why people think this. Duke Nukem anyone? But basically, if they see the word Gearbox, they're like open world, class guns, and all that cool stuff. This game does not involve any of that stuff. So I don't know where they're getting that from. I guess they're just drinking too much while they're playing fucking Aliens, but whatever. And the other reason why this is really disappointing for people is the hype. Definitely the hype, the four-letter words, HYPE, the hippies yelling for pseudo-excitement. That's what I call it. Anyways, you never, ever, ever give into PRs and their hypes. People haven't learned this. They still believe in that stuff, so they're always like getting themselves hyped over a huge disappointment. I've learned this the hard way after many disappointments, and just quite frankly, for being alive. So I don't really go into a game really hyped at all anymore. I go in with a positive mindset and ready to play, enjoy, surprise myself, and move on pretty much. So all in the game was just this game itself was very lacking because of that. So if you hyped yourself for the game, you're in for a disappointment. If you go in with a positive mindset, you'll probably enjoy the game. And finally, the only people who could enjoy this game as much and really love this game, there's three types of you. I've noticed, people sent me messages, text, and I saw them. Some of them are really hardcore Alien fans. They love it. They're old school gamers. They don't really care. So, I know who you guys are. Props to you guys. Second are delusional people who are trying to justify their loss. I had some messages that they're finally understanding that, they just lost $60. They can't do anything about it. And then there are people who just, quite frankly, enjoy the game for what it's worth, either from the multiplayer or having friends to play with and have fun with. Well, you know what? If you did enjoy this game with the hard-earned dollars, then good for you, because I 100% support you for that shit. Because that's the most important thing about video game, is to have fun with your friends and family, whatnot. Don't be swayed by other opinions or mine. And for those of you guys out there whining about shit, and there are people just who are out there blindly tossing their money around, demanding refunds and shit. You're the most annoying people. Don't be so spoiled. It's time to man it up. This doesn't work like a retail store where you can just use it and then bring it back with a receipt. You've made a bad investment. Shit happens. Man it up. Like I said before, move on. You should have waited for reviews. You should have waited for videos. Do a little more research. Get a feel out of the game before you actually toss money at it. I'm sorry for your loss, but it happens. I mean, I got people sitting on my stream who went, "But Ken, you also toss out, $50 on this game, and you even bought the season pass," even though I didn't like it. The fact is that it's my hobby. I can do it because I can, and I do it for fun. I eat video games for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's my sort of entertainment. You gotta understand, it doesn't financially budge me at all. With over $8,000 worth of Steam games, I have a shit ton of console games that I can never finish in my lifetime. I can't even count anymore. And a $10,000 PC that I built purely for gaming. Do you really think I am shitting in a corner and crying about my losses? No. So, but what? Anyways, enough with all the ranting. I'm gonna sit here and smoke my hookah. It's been fun, guys. I've always say game on and play games for yourself. Form your own opinions. Don't be swayed. You observe, you learn. I also hope developers learn from their mistakes and improve on it in the future. That's pretty much the point of me making these videos, is to pass the message around, and hope you guys, think a little more before you actually take action on certain things, and quit hating, because it's not healthy. With that being said, if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe to it. Hit me up on my stream, Twitch, or just send me a message if you have some questions about certain games that you are planning to get. Steam name is Ken, as usual, Kenuty, Kenuty. If you need any help or anything like that, I'll definitely help you out with that. That's what I do. It's what I started doing again for fun. But like I said before, game on, have a nice day, and play your games. Next week, I'm definitely going to take on Metal Gear Solid and Crysis 3.